Hey Divi Nation, thank you for joining us in this live stream. Today we're going to show you how to make your logo cross the primary and secondary menu bars within your Divi header. We're going to use the Divi theme builder. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so I want to say hi to everyone on YouTube and Facebook. If you guys have questions, make sure to leave a comment on both platforms, and I'll be checking out the comments to see if I can help you guys with anything. So, all right, let's get started. Over here, we have a preview of what we're going to achieve within this live stream tutorial. So over here, you can notice the header that we've built. On the left side, we have the logo. Then on the right side, we have the primary menu bar and also the secondary menu bar. And these both, have space for the logo at the left. So the logo actually makes space and makes sure that it overlaps both these bars, and we're going to achieve this using Divi's built-in options. So yeah, let's get started. Over here, let me just show you guys also a preview on smaller screen sizes before I forget. So over here we have something a little bit more simple, but it's the same header, and we're just making some changes to make sure that this is the outcome on smaller screen sizes. Yeah, so over here I have a page where I don't have a header yet, and I'll be working on that one. I just want to, can someone assure me that it's working on YouTube, or just let me quickly check if it's loading there, because I have a feeling that there might be. Okay, seems like it is. So yeah, let me just continue. All right, so I'm going to go to the backend of my WordPress website to start off. So I'll go over here to the backend of my WordPress website, and I'm going to go to Divi theme builder here. And you'll notice that I have a header already, which is part of the preview that you could see over there. And I'm going to create a new header on a new page that I've created, which is dedicated to this use case tutorial. And this one has just a regular header on it. So to create this new header, I'm going to start building a custom header here and click Build Custom Header. All right, so we're going to start building this from scratch, and I'll choose the first option for that. Okay. So by default, you already have a section over here, but we're going to use another section, mainly a specialty section. So if you click on the plus icon over here, you have three options: regular, specialty, and full width. For this particular outcome, if I go back over here, we're going to use a specialty section. So I'm going to select the red option over here, and then the column structure I'm choosing is the third one over here in the first row. The one that I'm hovering right now. And now that I have this second section, I can remove the first one so we can get started with this design. Now I'm going to open the specialty sections settings first and make some changes there before we add modules and rows and that. So I'm going to open these settings and add a background color. This is the one that I'm choosing, and you can find all of the color codes and settings by going to the blog post directly mentioned in the description below. Or you can also download the template, the header template file in that same blog post as well, and upload it to the website you're working on. All right, so a specialty section, if you've used it already, you'll know that it's kind of different in approach. You have a column on the left side. So this column structure has a column on the left side, and then you can add different rows in the second column of this specialty section. That's what it's called. So both of these are called columns, but you can kind of nest rows inside the second column of the specialty section. So over here in the sizing settings, I'm going to have to make some changes to make sure that these will, align just the way they look right now on the screen. So the first one being equalized column heights. I'm going to turn that on, use custom gutter width with a value of 1. This makes sure that the space between the columns and the modules in the columns is removed, so you can manually add it. And then I'm also going to scroll down over here, and very important to add 100% to the inner width. And we're also going to assign a max width, which is 2580 pixels. This basically, the 2580 pixels will just allow us to create this kind of full screen experience. You can substitute this with 100% as well. But yeah, 2580 pixels just allows you to create a responsive design with pixels, but you can go for 100% instead of this value here too. And definitely make sure that the inner width is 100%, so there's no padding at the left and the right side of the section. And then I'm going to go to the spacing settings and also remove all of the default top and bottom padding that's applied to the various elements within this specialty section, starting with the general section itself by adding 0 pixels to the top and the bottom. And you'll notice as I'm adding these 0 pixel values, the size of my section is going to reduce. So let me just do the same thing for column 1 and column 2 as well. So I'm linking these. And then I'll go to the Advanced tab, and I'm going to use 2 custom CSS IDs for the columns of this specialty section. Header, first column for the first column of my section, and then second header, second column for my second column of my specialty section, and a dash in between words. All right, so now that I've prepped the container, which is a specialty section, I can start adding modules, starting with an image module in column 1. So the first column of this specialty section is going to be dedicated to the logo, which is then going to cross the 2 different bars within my header. And yeah, so I have my logo over here. I'm going to change the alignment to center, and I'm also going to assign a max width. Definitely depends on your preference, but I'm going to use 100 pixels for the max width of my image module over here. And I'm also going to hide this on tablet and phone because we'll be using the built-in logo option of the menu module for smaller screen sizes. So we have that kind of left logo and right hamburger alignment on smaller screen sizes. If I go over here to the preview, this is what we get on smaller screen sizes. So basically what we're doing is we're using this image module that we've just added on desktop only to create that overlap. And on smaller screen sizes, we're instead using the logo option of the menu module to make sure that this alignment is effortless. All right, so for that reason, we're hiding this particular module on tablet and phone. And now that we have the image module and thus the logo in the first column of our specialty section, we can add a first row to the second column. And we're going to use 3 columns for that. So there we go. I have a row with 3 columns. I'm going to prep the row settings first by opening the row settings. I'm going to use a background color. Again, you can find all of these color codes, steps, and also the template JSON file by going to the blog post directly mentioned in the description below. All right, so this is the background color we're using. You can read it off the screen as well. And I'm going to go to the spacing settings of my row, and I'm going to make some small changes here. So I'm going to reduce the padding to 10 pixels for top and bottom, and 5% for the left and the right side, just to create a little bit of breathing space there. And then I'll go to the border settings. If I go back to the preview, my design, this is what we have over here. So we'll start with the bottom border width of 3 pixels. We're using a slightly darker purple color for this bottom border. And we're also using left border, which is going to be 3 pixels on desktop, same color. And we'll bring that down to 0 pixels on tablet and phone, where we don't really need the border on the left and the right side because of the screen size, obviously. And we're also going to use 3 lines of CSS code in the row's main element: display flex, justify content center, and align items center. This will just centrally align vertically and horizontally our modules that we'll place in the next part of the tutorial. And Then we'll go back to the content tab over here, and if I show you guys the preview on smaller screen sizes, you'll only notice a button over here, whereas here on desktop we have social icons, text, and a button. Now, of course, we need to simplify the header design on smaller screen sizes, and for that particular reason, we're hiding the first and second column on tablet and phone. So we only have the button show up on smaller screen sizes. So there we go. So the only module we have here is, the only column that's active on mobile and tablet is the third one. All right. And yeah, now we can start adding modules. Let me just add a social media follow to column 1. Add the social networks of your choice, obviously. Just add Instagram here too. I'm going to change the individual background color of each one of my social networks into this yellowish, washed out yellow color. Then I'll go back to the general icon settings and apply an icon color too, just to match with the style, and also 100 pixels for the rounded corners in the border settings here to create circles. Next up, we have a text module in column 2. You can place anything you want over here. It can be any kind of call to action. I'm going to go to the design tab, text settings. I'm choosing pop-ins over here and center text alignment. Also changing the text color into that same yellow color. Let me just grab that color code really quick. And in column 3, we're using a button module. Add copy of your choice, obviously. Then we'll move on to the design tab. Over here, we're using right button alignment on desktop, and we'll bring that back to center button alignment on tablet and phone. We'll go to the button settings. Next, we're going to use some custom styles. A button text size of 14 pixels. Let me just grab the button text color here. This is the color we're using. Then we have the following background color. So we're basically just styling this, but you can create any kind of design you want and have this approach be applied to it. So make your logo across both menu bars. Let me just grab a bold font weight here to enable uppercase. I'm going to remove the border width here. 0 pixels. So I'm going to show the icon on the left. And I'm going to show it by default. So I'm removing this. I'm toggling this to no, only show icon on hover for button. So my icon appears. And then I'll go to the spacing settings. I'm going to apply some top and bottom padding, 10 pixels for both options, 50 pixels for the left padding, and 30 pixels for the right padding. So here we have the design up until now. And now we can focus on the second row, which is going to contain our menu. So let me just quickly see if there are any questions regarding this tutorial. Is there any way of changing the sliding direction of the mobile navigation bar? By default, it's always from top to bottom. You mean like the drop down? Probably yes, but that would need a tutorial on its own. It'll definitely take some CSS tweaking or JavaScript. Not sure. All right, let's move on to the second row, which is going to be a row with one column only. I'm going to open the row settings first. I'm going to use a background color for this row as well. Let me just add it. And I'll go to the Design tab. I'll go to the Design tab. First, I'm going to make a little change here in the specialty section. So the background color I've used over here needs to be applied to the column 1 background color as opposed to the entire section. All right, that's better. I'm going to reopen the row settings here, and I'll go to the spacing settings, some top padding 20 pixels, bottom padding 20 pixels as well, and left and right padding 5% for both options. Then I'll go to the border settings. I'm going to use some left border here, 3 pixels. I'm going to use the same dark purple color, and I'll bring this 3 pixels border width down to 0 pixels on smaller screen sizes. So we're using 0 pixels on tablet and phone for the row border. And now we can add our module. So let me just switch over here to desktop. And we're going to add a menu module to our second row. And of course, you're going to select a menu of your choice. And then you'll upload a logo on small screen sizes only. If you guys remember, I mentioned that this logo over here that we've added in the first column of our section will only be needed on desktop. So on smaller screen sizes, we want a more streamlined approach that you can notice over here. And for that particular reason, we've hidden the image module in column 1, and we're instead using the logo option of our menu module on smaller screen sizes by enabling the responsive option over here. And over here, I'm going to add a logo for both, making sure that that logo is added on both tablet and phone, and on desktop it's left out. And I'm going to remove the background color of my menu module as well, which is default by default white, so I don't want that. And I can style the menu text settings, but I see there's another question. Hi, you used CSS Flex for position of the top row elements within their boxes. Couldn't this have been done with standard Divi spacing settings? That's a good question. Over here, you can probably notice that these are perfectly aligned. And the reason for that is using the display flex option. It will automatically calculate the height of the items in each column, so the height of the column, and align them vertically as well. You can, in theory, you can do that with spacing settings as well, but you'll have to manually see with your eye how many pixels you need for top margin or top padding to make everything align perfectly horizontally. And to me, it just makes more sense to use display flex for that. And have that automatically be done across all screen sizes, because that's another thing. You want this to be very responsive, and that's exactly what display flex does. So in my opinion, if you want to align something vertically, like you can see over here, I'd recommend using display flex and looking into it too and seeing what kind of options you have. But you can, in theory, you can use spacing settings as well. Hope that answered your question. All right, so let's continue styling the menu module over here. I'm going to use Poppins as my font. I'm going to change the menu text color and the text size to 16 pixels. Then I'll go to the drop-down menu settings. I'm going to use this completely transparent menu line color. And I'm also going to change the icon settings. I'll change the color of each one of these to match the style of my header, but you can tweak these however you want and style this however you want. I'm also going to go to the sizing settings and apply a logo max width on smaller screen sizes. So that'll be 70 pixels for tablet and 50 pixels, 70 pixels for tablet and 50 pixels for phone. And now as you can notice, like if I compare these two, you can notice that this is more balanced. We have less space taken up by the logo, more space for the menu bars, and by default you have a few different column structures for a specialty section that you can notice over here, but you don't have one that literally assigns only 10% of your viewport width to the logo. So we're going to manually tweak that with some CSS code, which we're going to place within a code module in the first column of our specialty section. So right below the image module over here, I'm going to add a code module. I'm also going to place some style tags over here. And within these style tags, I can add my CSS code. Let me paste it first and you can see it all. You can watch it all fall into place. So we're basically doing a few things. We're changing the width of our first column of our specialty section to 10%. We're also, same thing. We're using display flex to just vertically align the logo within our specialty section, depending on how, on what the height is of our menu bars over here. The second column, we're assigning 90% to, so 10% for the first, 90% for the second. That's the way we're able to manipulate the column structure of our specialty section without having to add too many things. I mean, this is minimal code for just achieving this with an already built-in element. And we're also making sure that this first column over here on smaller screen sizes, doesn't show up at all by adding display none to the first column as soon as it's tablet and below. So yeah, now if I refresh, let me just save this quickly so I can show you guys on the front end. All right. And here we have our new header. So yeah, you are able to view all of the steps that go along with this tutorial by going to the blog post in the description below. If you guys have any more questions, I'm just going to take one last look at the comment section. Yeah. Is there a way to move the hamburger icon for mobile to the side of the screen instead of centering it? What do you mean exactly? Like it's on the side, I think, over here. It's on the right side. So if you care to elaborate, Matt on Facebook. Maybe I'm not understanding the question. Well, feel free to leave a comment on Facebook and I'll try to respond to that to see if I can help you with it. All right, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, we hope you're enjoying the general Divi design initiative and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.